Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations, a podcast that teaches you how to create a clutter-free, functional and simply happy life. I'm Narelle King, a professional organiser who supports families with practical steps to simplify their lives and create a more organised home. I'm passionate about supporting neurodivergent families and individuals like myself. Every fortnight I share guest conversations with experts passionate about the future of our home, health and the planet, which will provide you with actionable takeaways to create a more organised and happy life. Did you know 1 in 3 people's digital workspace is messier than their physical space? The average person receives 121 emails daily. The average person wastes 30 minutes per day searching for files and information due to digital clutter, which is over 100 hours a year. And the average person has around 25 browser tabs open at a time. And I've seen a lot more than that. These statistics just demonstrate the high rate of digital clutter and the importance of ways to simplify and adapt regular digital decluttering practices. Today on the podcast, I'm talking with Shawn Lemon, the founder of the Digital Organiser. He shares common mistakes, essential tools for digital organisation, tips to simplify technology, and the importance of having a password manager and security. This conversation is a video recording that you can also watch on YouTube. Let's jump into this Simply Happy guest conversation. Today on Simply Happy Conversations, I'm talking with Shawn Lemon from the founder of the Digital Organiser. They help individuals and businesses understand the tools to better use technology. And he will be sharing some tech tips today to help you reduce your digital clutter and also simplify your to-do list. Welcome, Shawn.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no, thank you so much. This is a topic that lots of people have a lot of issues around, and being a professional organizer, I hear of this all the time. So maybe start, what are 2 things that people, or 2 accessories that you would come with if you were a Ken doll, that show us a little bit about your hobbies and things you like to do outside of maybe digital organizing?
Yes, it would be 2 things. I would have a pottery wheel and I would have a motorcycle. Those are my 2 top hobbies. And it's synonymous with me right now.
And what's some of the things that you've made in pottery and what sort of got you into it?
So my entire dishware set and all of my serving bowls I made. My coffee mugs, most of the vases and planters that you can see in my office. Let's see.
Oh yeah, you can. Yes, yeah, gorgeous.
I love serving dishes. I like making planters and all kind of like functional ware. And then sometimes not so functional, but just things that look really pretty. So I love it.
And then what got you into pottery?
You know, I grew up thinking that I wasn't creative because my brother was the one who did the piano lessons and got the attention for like painting and was good at that. And I really didn't have any interest in drawing or painting, and didn't come naturally, wasn't interested, didn't want to spend the time developing it. But at some point I saw pottery in the whole wheel, and I thought, you know, I bet I'd be good at that. And I went to look for a class at some point. And there was almost nowhere in the Nashville area. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. And to do this, except 1 or 2 spots. And it was insanely competitive and hard to get in. But at some point, my wife remembered me mentioning it, and her mother was asking her what she could get for me for Christmas, and that popped into her head. She did it, figured out how I could get in, and they debated whether or not it was a good gift because it was going to be like 3 months before I could even try and get into the classes. She kind of was like, hey, if you have to wait, but it's a good thing, would you want it? I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing.
I got in, and that was 2019, and at least I think it was 2019, and I haven't stopped.
Wow. So in lockdown, you were like able to just sit there with that wheel and really practice.
Well, actually, speaking of lockdown, so the U.S. was giving these stimulus checks to kind of help during lockdown. And so Madeline and I, Madeline's my wife, both of us got one. And I said, I know what I'm spending mine on. I'm getting a pottery wheel or I'm going to freaking go crazy. And she's like, where are we going to put it? We got a small house. We don't have any storage. And we had this old moldy shed that was packed. I'm like, I'm cleaning out the shed and I'm getting it. Like nothing is stopping me. And I did. And I'm so happy I did. It's my world. I'm just missing the kiln.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I was to come over and work with you as a professional organizer, obviously it's not digital organization you need assistance with. What would it be that you'd want some assistance
The pottery
with?
shed.
Oh,
All the
yes.
way. It's, the physical and I could figure it out, but I'm so consumed with wanting to create that cleaning that area out and reorganizing it, because I have very little time. I've got a toddler right now. So my free windows are very small. So if I'm doing anything, cleaning is at a minimum, organization is at a minimum, and it's just getting time doing what I love doing. So I make a mess. And I really need a much better flow in there.
And it's funny that you say that, because I find that with so many of my clients are creative people who just are the same thing. I don't have the time to do it because when I get in there, I just want to build or make or do what it is that I'm actually loving. Yeah. So
that's how I feel about the digital world. I don't want you having a fight with this. I want you to sit down and create, because you don't nerd out about this. That's why you have trouble with this in the first place. It's not rocket science, but you really do have to think about, how am I going to build this out? Just like a physical space of storage and the flow and where it all goes, and then needing to adapt it. That's all part of the digital world, just like it is in the physical. And while someone may be able to figure some of these things out, and some of it is really technical, but the majority of it, that's just not your focus. And so it's really nice to have someone come in and interview you and figure out what's your flow, whatever, and let's build it together and make it something yours.
Yeah. So that's probably the main reason why, why would you say then people do have digital clutter? Because they're not interested in it. Because
they're not interested in it is the biggest thing. And they're in a hurry to do the things that they are. And then there are all of these settings straight out of the box that are not conducive to being organized, such as immediately downloading all of your downloads to the downloads folder. I loved that when switching from a PC to a Mac, and because I would focus on it and I always knew where it would go and I could clean it out. But most people don't do that. And I've actually switched it back to the old default PC method, which is ask me where to put the file. And because I have an intentional folder structure, I know right where it goes and where it should be named. And so I have no problem finding any document that you ask me for in seconds.
I love that. That's such a great tip already, just making sure that you name the document so that you put it away rather than, because otherwise it's just a bunch of numbers, isn't it, really, and letters as a download, and you have to actually open it to see what it was. And definitely.
It's just the most random names. You download a tax document and it's just some random number. That's not helpful to you when you're going to find it later on down the road. So that 2 seconds or 5 seconds that you could have just taken to rename that file just cost you 15 minutes later on down the road, because you don't know what your password is to get back into the mortgage company. And then you're trying to figure out where the download is for the specific tax document. Then you finally get it, upload the whole thing, and it's just ridiculous. That's the reality of so many people, because these few little changes that we didn't make on the front end to set ourselves up for success.
And it also sounds like physical organization as well as digital organization is something we can learn. It's not just natural.
Oh, sure.
And so you have to have those processes set up. So what do you think then is the biggest mistakes that you see from people in the digital world?
Yeah, I think it is most often taking their friend's advice instead of kind of following their own intuition of what they feel like they should really be doing. I mean, there's this chase for the next app. And, Notion is going to fix this. You're having a problem with project management and managing your calendar. I use Notion. It's so great. You can set up your calendar in there and your to-do list and the whole project management. And so you try it out and you have one more to-do list and one more half set up calendar. And where do I go for everything? Because you didn't fully commit. So now your stuff is fragmented all over the place. And now you got 5 apps instead of 4 apps to check for something. So it's all about committing and getting everything over. But yeah, I mean, there's so much overlap between these apps. I am a major advocate for simplicity, as simple as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And do you find that people think that things are going to take a lot longer than they actually do in the digital world? Like I know for physical clutter, people will
Uh-huh.
say, oh, that's going to take us hours to do that cupboard.
Uh-huh.
And then we do it in, say, an hour. And they're like, oh, wow, that didn't take
Yeah.
that long at all. Like,
Yeah.
do you find the
Totally.
same thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we build this stuff up for how big it's going to be. Now, there's the occasional person who thinks that it's no big deal. You know, they've created a big mess and they're like, I just needed some tips and tricks. Like I thought that, you know, I was just thinking, you know, they book a call with me and it's a 45-minute call to like really, so I can go deep. This is free. And it's just like, they think it's going to be an hour of tips or something, or an hour and a half. I'm like, no, it's more than that, because this is your entire world digitally. Like this is not just a tip or trick is going to help you. Otherwise, YouTube would have solved this for you. But those are the few and far between. But the majority of it, yeah, this is going to take forever. Like, how do we actually get this done? And like, well, we've got a method for it, and when it all comes down to it, the 80-20 rule applies. The majority of what you have really doesn't need to be organized to the level that you think that it might. So we can get people through the process so much faster than they think.
Yeah. And that's so true, because I find I do a lot of paper organization. So I might have a lot of older clients who don't even have digital world.
Yeah.
So even that, it's they're always like, I'm like, you don't need all of that paperwork. We can get rid of some of that. And especially because there might be some things that you could change to digitally, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, totally. You can change it. And a lot of it, it's like, I don't really even want you to. Like, if it's certain like bills and documents that actually mean something, great. But the new data loss is data lost in the mix of all of the other stuff that you have. You know, it's rare that I hear someone having a crashed hard drive recently. So, you know, especially with notes, and people are obsessed with the new, what note-taking app should I have? I'm like, don't use any. And like, notes should be where that project is in your file structure. And when you're writing on paper, don't scan it or take a picture of it, because you're not going to be able to read that chicken scratch next year. And two, what do these fragments of a sentence even mean in the first place? Like, what we need to do is take a look at it. What are those few bullet points or those few action items that you wrote down? Let's put that in a master document around this project and call it a day and throw that piece of paper away.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so hard, though, to convert people. So if you were to give someone a few tips around reducing their digital clutter, what would be some of your favorite things for people to start with?
It's always consolidating first. I want you to get everything into one place, if at all possible. So if you've got stuff in Dropbox, Google Drive, and iCloud on your desktop, the whole thing, what we want to do is go and consolidate it into one spot so that you don't have to search multiple places. And so if you have to download those from Dropbox.com, once you have downloaded them, delete them from Dropbox.com. So we don't create confusion later on down the road of, did I download that? What are these here? Because 2 years, like, now you're paralyzed and don't actually delete things because you're afraid that you didn't consolidate it all properly the first time. So burn those bridges. Once you've consolidated, get rid of it. And then 2, don't try and organize everything. Once you've consolidated it, delete the things that you know that you don't need, and then find all of the stuff that's actually good and relevant, and let's create a new folder structure based off of the most important things that you need. And then the rest of that stuff can be archived. You can go back and organize that later on down the road if you want, but I want you focusing on the things that you access regularly and will set you up for the future, because you know you will reference this document later on down the road. Let's make that a part of our new file structure. But the stuff that it's unlikely you're going to reference with any regularity, let's not make that a part of our new folder structure. You're adding more distractions. You're adding more things to sort through, and you're adding more work onto your plate that just isn't worth your time. So those would be the 2 big things. By the way, I'm going to give you a file organization guide that
would be amazing.
I just talked about.
Yep.
that's the start of the process that we take every client through. I'm going to give you that process in this guide with not only text, but videos explaining the process and the whole idea that we introduce our clients to when we're helping them organize. So make sure to listen at the end or find the show notes for that.
Definitely.
That
and your quiz. I love the quiz because that actually gives you
too, for sure.
like what areas. So maybe talk about the different areas of clutter that you might see or the different areas that people need to organize.
Yeah. So what we focus on most are 4 core areas. That's email. I should call it communication, but most people are drowning in email. So we'll talk about that. Files. Task management or project management is the third thing. That is that flywheel that's moving your business forward, or just even your personal life. We get assets from emails that need to be saved. We get tasks that need to be completed via email. And then we reference files from our task management. And so tasks, files, and communication are the 3 core things that we need to do really well. And so those are the 3 areas that I would dig into, and then passwords as well, because that can just be a major bottleneck when it comes to getting things done and a massive time waste throughout the day. So we like to focus on those 4 things, and our quiz specifically addresses those things of how effective are these systems. Whatever you're doing now, whether you've got a good folder structure or not, how effective is it for you to find what you're looking for? And that'll give you a point in the right direction of where you might want to start.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was what's really important, is it then gives you that, okay, this is the area that I've got the biggest problem with, and then we can work back from there. Yep. But maybe talk a little bit about password managers, because this is something that I am constantly telling clients, because I see it. I will see them trying to struggle, and they'll be like, "Oh, we'll be with you in a minute," and it can take up to 10 minutes of them retrieving a password just for something like this. This was actually yesterday. A client needed to give the password for their, like a TV streaming service, and the child wanted it, and it ended up taking her 10 to 15 minutes to reset it and redo it because she didn't know it, and the one she thought she had. So what's your recommendation? And talk about the password managers, because I start and people sort of just glaze over and go, no, that sounds hard, Narelle.
Yeah. So we like an app called 1Password.
That's what I use. Yeah.
You use that one?
I use that one too. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And what I want everyone listening to know is a good password manager works on all of your devices, even in not in your browser. So it can fill in passwords in your apps. It can fill in passwords whether you're using Chrome or Safari, Windows and Mac. And so it's the tool that integrates with all of your other things that use passwords, so that you don't have to keep track of it and have multiple sets of passwords. So we just have one set. And that is hugely helpful when it comes to just simplifying your life. And then if you have people in your household or in your business that you want to be able to share logins with, you can create a folder. 1Password calls them vaults, and you can put specific logins in that vault and give access to that vault to someone else or to a group of people. And on top of that, you can integrate 2-step verification codes into those logins. So what this means is when you have a spouse trying to get into a Gmail account, because they need to get into your Gmail account, you're not available, they know the password, but they put that in and Google says, I don't recognize your device. I'm going to send a text over to your husband. Then, and he's unavailable in a meeting, you're not getting into that account. But if you have the username and password saved in 1Password, and you've used the Authenticator app feature so that it just generates a code that expires every 30 seconds, when it asks you for the 2-step verification code, it fills it in automatically so you can skip the text message. And this works for teams as well and is hugely helpful in a team environment, fractional CFOs, marketing companies where they're handling a lot of client logins. Passwords are a massive bottleneck, and we basically solve it and make it a non-issue. And it's one of the most frustrating things when it comes to tax season for accountants and or trying to get a new person spun up for social media in a marketing company.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's amazing. The other feature that I really enjoy is it now sends you that reminder saying that one of your passwords might have been, or the company may have had some issues and data breach. Yep. And so you can change it. I think that's a great feature.
Me too.
That they have as well, because then I'm like, okay, I'll just change it. And I love that it's like there's no way I'm going to remember all those passwords because they're all unique, aren't they? Whereas you hear all the time people using the same password, and it's numbers and letters of something that anyone could probably work out from if they had a little bit of information about them.
Yeah. For context, I've been using 1Password for at least 15 years. And I have probably, I'd say roughly 1,000 logins. So I've been in business for 10 years officially, and was doing this on the side for a long time before, and then with my wife, 1,000 logins? How many different variations, how many email addresses have I gone through in that period of time? I don't have password issues because I've been using this tool, and it just makes it all easy. It feels scary for people, but it is one of the coolest things that you can do for yourself, just to stop daily frustration.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. People are really, really scared of them. Whereas once you do embrace it, you're like, why did I not have this years ago? Yeah. Like I think I bought something like the other day on a website that I was like, I don't think I've bought something from that for like maybe 5 years. We've been using it for about 5 years. And it automatically popped up and was like, here's your login. And I was like, oh, that's so good that it saved that login from buying something from ages. Otherwise, I would have been resetting the password and doing that whole verification and going, which email address did I even use it to? So it's great. Yeah, I highly recommend that. If people could do one thing, what would you recommend listeners do to be more organized with their tech? Apart from now the password manager, what's the second thing that they would do?
I'd say simplify. Don't get seduced by the new app. Chances are you already have everything that you need. And what you need is just to learn a little bit more about the system that you already have in place. And that can probably do what this next app is going to try and do for you. If we can simplify, then just know how we're supposed to use this tool and put a block of an hour on your calendar to address a specific problem that you've been dealing with, you will learn so much. You will feel in control, and you'll realize, oh, wow, I don't need all of these other things. Or you might find, actually, I really do, and that will make a difference for you. And so spending that little bit of time on the front end is super important.
Definitely, isn't it? And just most of these apps and websites too also have really great help areas and videos or instructions, and it's taking that time to go back and read it. If not, there's someone on YouTube who's explaining and giving you a tutorial on that app and the benefits and how to use it properly as well, isn't that?
That's right. ChatGPT can be great as well. Yeah. You have to be careful because, especially for like help articles, because it will create an amalgamation or create an answer that's an amalgamation of a bunch of different help articles. So the steps are all wrong and it doesn't actually work. But in some cases, it's really great. I've actually had it create really cool spreadsheets for me that I would have never have known how to do with complex formulas and all of these dependencies and stuff, that it's giving me all of that formulas just because I'm describing it well, or helping me to figure out what a certain aspect of an app can do and leading me through the steps. And it's like, actually, I don't see that. And they're like, sorry, we referenced the wrong article. And then it'll give me better instructions going forward. I've been able to accomplish a lot. So it is
that's
not
a great tip
by any means, but it's one other thing that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a great tip to use. So if people were to connect with you, where is the best place for them to go?
Yes. So go to thedigitalorganizer.com/simplyhappy. So when you go there, that's where you can download that file organization guide. And then you'll get a few emails from me introducing you to a little bit more about me and the company that, and what we do. And that's just a fantastic starting place. And of course, we're on all the social media channels, but yeah, go to that link and download the guide.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Shawn, for your time, but also your tips and sharing your knowledge with us.
You're welcome,
yes, that will all be in the show notes as well, the Digital Organiser. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining me for today's Simply Happy conversation. Would you like to have a home for everything and easily be able to find the things you need during the festive season? To help you have the best Christmas season, I've created an extra special free resource for you, the Christmas Declutter Calendar. Quick and simple ideas designed to give you immediate results in just 15 minutes each day. Feel more organised this Christmas and download your Christmas Declutter Calendar from simplyhappy.com.au in the resource section. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.